Well, this is a bit of a mulligan, but if I sound really stupid or terrible within the first minute of doing these, I'm allowed to start over. Then if I act like an idiot or an asshole after I've been on here for a few minutes, it's too late. But anyways, today is Friday, as you probably know, and it is 7:44 in the morning. I woke up at 6:30, which is about when I like to wake up. But this is one of those mornings where I wake up and I feel like screaming because I already don't like it and I don't know how I'm going to get through a whole day. I just want to be unconscious. I don't even want to be stoned because being stoned doesn't cut it as far as CRPS. Being stoned with CRPS is like, okay, you're stoned and you're able to lay there, but you still feel everything, but you care about it less. That's all you get. The only pain relief you seem to get is, I care about it less. So, I don't really like drugs. So, uh, Lord knows, psychiatric community is always trying to foist, Foisted. Okay, now I'm in the idiot territory. I was afraid this would happen. I just made my verb I was spelling out into a past tense when it was a present tense verb. Foist. They're trying to foist drugs on me all the time. Like, take this, try this, try this. And I was like, I am not a guinea pig. I don't want to try anything. Like when um, I rescheduled my cardiology appointment for the 15th. When I go in there, they'll be like, have you taken your Fleckenade? I haven't even drinking lemonade, let alone taking Fleckenade. I ain't taking that stuff unless I need it. And it's a anti-arrhythmia pill. And yeah, come to think of it, my heart has kind of mellowed out the last few days, but I had like a bad few days there where I was like, oh, we're going to do the heart thing now. So, anyways, let me run through this really quickly. Um, so, got my cardiology appointment rescheduled. Coleman actually called me and rescheduled, or not rescheduled, but scheduled an appointment with the psychiatric person for March 8th. And I'm like, well, unless the drugstore screws up, I have 3 refills starting on the 5th of next month. So that should take me to April 5th. So, you know, that's like, I'll be cool as far as my volume prescriptions. Uh, Plus, I have massive amounts, stockpiled anyway. So, not really an issue. Um, and I texted the case manager from Coleman, and instead of texting me, she just called me. I was talking to her yesterday, and um, we had like a conference call or something with the Lifeline people, which I don't really care for her description of Lifeline as like a community medical facility or something like that. It's like, okay, so you're telling me these are like bottom of the barrel, you know, bottom of the barrel doctors. It's like, oh yeah, it's fun being poor and sick in America. I hear socialized medicine in Canada is pretty lousy though. So, it's still a matter of like, you can get, um, I mean, Canadians think it's weird because I know people that are poor and they're like, they won't go to the emergency room or go to doctors and stuff because it's going to cost them money. And a Canadian person gets hurt, all they think about is their hurt. They don't think about how much it's going to cost. They're not looking at, that expression hemorrhaging cash. They're not bleeding and thinking like, ah, shit, this is going to cost me a whole shitload of money. They're thinking, oh God, I'm bleeding. I need to go to the emergency room and get this shit stitched up. They're not thinking like, oh, how many hours of work am I going to have to put in to cover this mistake? Damn it, why did I have to slip with that knife? That was a costly mistake. But anyways, yeah, there's the itchy nose. Of course, I gotta have an itchy nose on my camera. Um, so I got everything accomplished this week that I wanted to get accomplished, which was reconnect with the um, case manager from Coleman and get an appointment set up with a possible primary caregiver. They do a thing where they'll call you and it takes like 3 days. Set up an appointment and get a psychiatric. I don't mean to flip you off. Get a psychiatric appointment um, set up. So that actually was done for me. The dude just called me, and there was something else in there that I was supposed to do that I did. I didn't like today. I'm supposed to get uh, some money paid back to me, but I didn't follow up with that. I talked to them on Monday. They said they would do it Friday. I thought it would be intelligent for me. I could do that sometime today and be like, hey, here's my, be blunt about it. Just send them my email. In case you don't have my email, because you need to have an email, they could probably just use my name. But, just as a reminder, like, hey, you said you pay me back some money today. Or maybe I'll just call them, try to get a hold of them and talk to them like a human being. Um, so it's been a good week as far as getting back on track. There was something else that I was supposed to do, but I got the cardiology appointment, I got the psychiatric appointment, I contacted the case manager, and I don't know, something else I was supposed to do. But anyways, I did everything this week that I was supposed to do. Um, I'm gonna have to do some sort of lifestyle adjustment as far as exercise, and um, I have to actually practice wearing a shirt, you know. So it's like I can kind of get used to it, and my legs really swollen, so I have to, um, yeah, put in effort uh, with the hygiene thing because my shower is really small and my legs really swollen. It's a really bad combination. If I'm like sitting on my shower chair and cross my leg, my knee is actually poking the shower curtain out, and water gets on the floor. It's like it's not practical. It's made for little children, and I'm not a little child. So it just like makes getting cleaned up a really big pain in the ass since my legs don't move right. But yeah, I have to do some lifestyle changes. And I really wasn't such well. It's not past tense. I'm just talking, so I'm not thinking about it, which is one of the reasons why I do a lot of talking and writing. But I'm in such pain. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to get a doctor's appointment, but I don't know when I'm going to get a doctor's appointment. So I was like, man, I would love to just like pop for Neuron like immediately. Uh, but that's not an option. I have to wait until I see when my appointment's going to be because it could be like a month down the road. I maybe have 60 odd Neuron left, and that 2 to 4 pills a pop. That don't last very long. I didn't take any yesterday at all, and yesterday, yeah, yesterday was not a good pain day, but I didn't try to walk around and move on my leg too much. I don't know. Like I said, as long as they can write scripts, I can probably get more Neurontin, but I don't want to. I want to at least have that appointment there because I'm going to run out of Neurontin eventually. But I want to at least have that appointment there, know when it is, and be like, okay, I can take this much Neurontin before my appointment. And once I find out when my appointment is, I will just bring in an empty bottle, and if I have any leftovers, I just put my leftovers aside and be like, hey, I need this refilled, or maybe put 2 in there so it doesn't look like I'm just bringing an empty bottle. Like this is gonna run out. I don't know. Um, that's actually an illegal thing. Is taking pills out of the bottle they came in, the prescription bottle they came in. Or like if you get stopped by the police and you have pills in the wrong bottles, it's actually illegal. And my older sister used to do that all the time. Just put a bunch of random pills in a bottle. And at the time, my brother-in-law was really conscious about doing everything legally, and he used to hate it. That's the only reason why I know that is they used to have fights over it. She would just be putting like Benadryl and stuff in a pill bottle mixed with Excedrins, and she was running on pills. She'd put like 3 or 4 different kinds of pills. And they're picking up the garbage outside. I don't know if you can hear that high, delightful whine and grinding noise. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I know I have to get started on trying to, I don't know, live, but I really don't want to. I still don't want to. And go through like all this nonsense that I have to go through. Um, yeah, I was thinking about it. First thing in the morning, which is never good. It's like, can't eat right, can't shit right, can't piss right, can't wear a shirt, can't walk right. Is there anything I could do right? Sometimes I can talk right, and I always can write. Yeah, I can always write right. So, never have a problem with that. But yeah, that's really getting on my nerves. I had this aid worker yesterday that just wouldn't shut up. And she saw that I was struggling with standing up, listening to her talk, and we were having a conversation, which was cool. But you know, I was her last client of the day, so I assume that most people, when they get off work, like they just want to go home and relax, you know. But maybe she don't like going home or whatever. She lives out in the country and was talking about coyotes, and she saw a couple of feral dogs like dragging a roadkill deer, and they like came toward her to protect their kill, which wasn't really their kill. It was some car's kill. But she said she got freaked out real bad, and she's afraid to go outside at night. And I'm like, yeah, we have totally different points of view of the country because I was like 10 years old going out at night fishing by myself in like wooded areas. And I liked being out at night, but she's like afraid to go outside like around her own house. And I'm like, just get some ammonia water and put it in a bottle. She didn't know that like ammonia, you can like I don't care if it's the Hound of the Baskervilles or a timber wolf. If you spray it with ammonia water, it's gonna leave you alone. I learned that from a mailman. It's like a mailman. He was like, I'm not getting bit, and because I asked him what's that on your side there in that little bottle. And he goes, oh, that's some ammonia water. And I'm like, what do you carry that for? He goes, dogs. And I'm like, dogs. I put two and two together, and I was like, oh, so you're too cheap to buy mace, huh? He goes, he laughed, and he goes, no, you don't need to buy a mace. He's like, you just buy this. He's like, right in your house. And he had like a little holster, like he was carrying a 45. And I said, have you ever sprayed a dog with it? And he goes, oh, yeah, I sprayed more than one. He said, once you spray them with ammonia water, it gets anywhere near their mouth or their eyes, they don't come anywhere near you. He's like, I got this one dog, and when it sees me coming, it runs and hides underneath the car until I leave. And he's like, the owners never have caught me doing it though. But yeah, if the owner is there, sometimes the owners are there and they're still let their dogs menace people and run loose and stuff. So, anyways, um, I'm telling her like, if you're afraid of like coyotes, which I don't think coyotes attack people, they attack people's pets. But if you're afraid of like coyotes and wild dogs, packs and shit like that, just carry yourself some mace or ammonia water, and you'll be fine. Uh, Unless they sneak up behind you, and you can't spin around or whatever. But she's actually afraid to go out of her house at night. I couldn't get rid of her though. I had never um, met her before, and it's like you really must hate living out in the country in a place called Beach City. It's called Beach City in Ohio. That is false advertising. There's no beaches in Ohio. Uh, yeah, we used to go. Beach City Falls, I think, is the name of the town technically, and we used to go fish at the Beach City Reservoir and Dam, and they had have Beach City Caves, which is sort of like a nature preserve type place where they have these natural caves that I won't go in because I'm claustrophobic. Why in the hell would I want that? It's got a bunch of graffiti on the outside of it anyway. Ghetto caves. Um, but anyways, yeah. So she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a gabber or something like that." I'm like, "That's okay." I should have just let her leave. She realized I'm just like struggling to stand up and stuff, and she talked like another 5 to 10 minutes, which is not a long time unless you have trouble standing. And I was like, "Yeah, I better let you go now." She got a husband, so maybe she don't like her husband, or maybe her husband's not home when she gets home. A lot of people don't like coming home to an empty house. That's why they have pets, dogs and cats and stuff to greet them. Me, I grew up in a very full house, like 7 kids and 3 bedrooms type full, where we had two, we had mom and dad's bedroom, and then a bedroom for the males and a bedroom for the females. So they were all packed like sardines, and I was a couch person growing up. So I can't even remember if I had a bedroom when I was growing up. I remember I had to jack off in the bathroom. I didn't have any privacy. So yeah, um, I don't have any trouble with being alone or going outside alone or being outside in the woods at night alone. I did tell my story about how a fox snuck up behind me and cried like a baby. And I didn't know foxes could make all different kind of hideous noises, but they can. And it did that thing that was kind of like, what the fuck? I was all by myself in the woods at night, sitting by a lake. What is that? And I told my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh, that was a fox." He's like, "Duh, like I'm supposed to." He always, you know, made it seem like you're supposed to know stuff automatically. You're supposed to be like born knowing things. Because this is gonna sound really stupid, but this is a good example of my childhood. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, the toilet's overflowing," and he's like, "Well, plunge it, you fucking retard." And I'm like, "Okay." He never taught me how to plunge a toilet. I didn't know anything about. I was like, "What do you do in this case? The water seems to be going back up." So I just yelled for help. Water seems to be going back up. He's like, "Plunge it, you idiot." So yeah, that was always good for my self-esteem because he always acted, never taught us anything, and always acted like we were supposed to know everything automatically. Don't you watch TV? They don't plunge a lot of toilets on TV. Yeah. Don't you watch that one show about a janitor? Yeah, you don't want to learn from 60s and 70s TV anyway. Because if you grow up, whatever era you grow up, at least in the old days, you had to watch. Like I grew up in uh, 70s and the 80s, excuse me. So I grew up watching shows like Bewitched from the 60s, Hogan's Heroes, and stuff like that. Really nothing to be learned there. But anyways, um, so I'm gonna, you know, this week I was able to try, and it really made it easy for me, like I said, because one person just called me out of the blue. I just texted the other person, they called me, and they put me on a conference call with these Lifeline people, which they basically seem like a community outreach, like doctor's service for transients. So, and I was like, I heard about those people from one of my aid workers, and they said they're not very good. And she said, well, you're not going to get good medical care, unless you have the money to pay for it, more or less. And I agreed with her. Um, just a sad fact of existence. That was never, I was never taught how to plunge a toilet, and I was never taught how the value of money. And like, you got to have money. Nobody ever taught me, like, you need money to have teeth. You know, yeah, you need money to have teeth. Yeah, you need money to get good medical care. You need money like for everything in this country. So you should probably like capitalize on your limited intelligence to find a way to fucking make money. Like that never occurred to me. I'm like, okay, I got a disability. I don't have to work. Uh, I was disabled ever since I was 16 years old. So I was like, got a guaranteed income. I don't mind being poor. I've always been poor. Even when I was middle class, I was poor because really technically income wise, my dad was making an upper middle class income, but he had 7 children, and really we had like limitless food, but a very small house to live in. We always, and I didn't care about clothes or shoes or, you know, status symbol type things. But even growing up with money, it was like I didn't have money, and then I didn't have money because when I was 15 or so, my dad lost his job, and my folks were not savers, so his upper middle class job was gone. So I've always been poor, and I was just ignorant and didn't realize like, oh yeah, you need money. You, you have like no money, so this is gonna catch up to you when you get older and your teeth start falling out and stuff. Yeah, this is all going to catch up to you not having money, and you're going to get sick, and you're going to need good medical care, and not go to doctors who end up in jail for being rapists and stuff like that. And nobody told me this stuff, so I didn't know it. And I was like off in my own little uh, island called pain and disease and loneliness and confusion and mm, let me see if I can phrase this properly. Sexual repression, I guess. I was gonna have to say something like problems with my sexual identity. I'm like, wait a minute, that means a whole different thing than what I'm thinking of. But yeah, that was like the thing that messed with me immediately. It's like, oh, I got to deal with this whole sex thing. Like everybody struggles with that when you reach those teenage years. It's like for me, that was like, oh shit, coming from my background where like sex was bad. Like, oh god, now I like girls and stuff. Now I gotta deal with this. I can barely get through the day as it is. Shit. You're like 13, 14 or something like that. You start to like look at girls. Um, so yeah, I think about that sometimes. It's like, yeah, it's no wonder I never really liked life at all. I'm just amused by it. Like now, I don't find my whole situation amusing. I find it fairly intolerable. But um, because of the not being able to walk thing uh, and the intense pain and stuff. But like before Xanax and before the Baker cyst in my knee and the trouble walking and stuff, I was just like amused by life and amused by like poverty and the weird situations and how odd I find people. Like I don't really understand. Well, this day I really don't understand people. I was pleased with myself yesterday, and I'm like, you got like good conversational skills for a hermit because I was chatting up this lady. I was like, I think she likes me or something. Like she won't go away, and I was using um, all you want to do when you talk to somebody is just to get them talking about themselves, and then you're golden. Once they start talking about their own lives and things that they're familiar with and that they feel like they're on safe ground about, it's like, yeah, then everything's gravy after that. It's getting to that point where you get them like relaxed. I found that now I'm like a puppy dog and I'm harmless and whatnot, and I'm not like a big intimidating guy. It's like, oh, I can push this guy over or hit him with a stick, and he's not dangerous. But when I was dangerous, it was much more difficult to put people at ease than it is now when I'm clearly fucked up. I think it was worse. Like the fact that I was marginally fucked up made it worse because it's like, okay, he's still like very strong looking and kind of large, and he seems to have a don't give a fuck attitude. He's really weird too. It's like he may be crazy or stoned because he walks kind of weird, but at the same time he looks like really strong and he's not small. And like especially with women, that didn't work out too good for me. And I just remember like my general aspect was off putting, and then now that I'm non-threatening, it's like really easy for me to chat people up, talk to people. So I guess that's a skill. I don't know. So being pathetic is useful in some way. Who would have thought it? Uh, I would like to be less. I would like to go back to threatening. That would be cool. Anyways, this is like my um, third video this week, but this week, like I said, was very important for me to just deal with my situation. And like I said, it's drifting off the face of reality, and just like there's only one way that can end. There's no good end to that. Uh, I'm trying to get $1,700 in cash in the house so I can pay the rent, so I can pay 4 months rent in advance. Then my plan of self improvement over the next 4 months will be to save money. I will be selling cards, save and accumulate as much money as possible over the next 4 months, and address my physical issues, um, and try to make some kind of improvement there. I don't know what they're going to do about the knee. The thing that I didn't mention was I finally got that letter that I was talking about from my case manager for my insurance, because I was like, cast a wider net, because one of the things about being poor or having poor people's insurance is you have like three doctors to choose from. It's like, tell me all the doctor. Yeah, that's when I needed oral surgery. Give me a list of all the oral surgeons that are available on my insurance. Well, this is a waste of paper. There's like three names at the top, and then the rest of it's blank. I'm like, well, you killed a tree for this. Like you could have wrote this on a post-it note. So I don't know what I'm gonna see when I open up this letter, but it came in the mail yesterday, and because I told her like, just give me every available orthopedic surgeon in Ohio, because they gave me like a 60-mile radius of um, orthopedic surgeons that are available to me on my insurance, and um, then I think I can get my friend who's in Florida right now to drive me to at least my initial appointment, Uh, if I tell him about it like way in advance, he can schedule it. Now that he's retired, uh, I think it would be very expensive to pay for a cab to go there. And as far as like the transportation service I have, I think they only will go to Cleveland, which is like 60 miles. So that's why they just do like a 60-mile radius of, of your area, all the orthopedic surgeons in your area, and I've been to all of them. So there's that too. Clearly, that needs operating on. I need like to be rich, basically. So I need like extensive medical treatment. I need physical therapy, which they don't. Your insurance is not going to pay for that. I don't care how fucked up you are. I had to learn how to walk, and they only gave me physical therapy for a month. It's like if you don't figure out how to walk in a month, you're fucked. You know? They give you a bunch of exercises and tell you to go home, but the problem is like, especially, I'm just having vocal problems this morning. Still got that bad throat thing going on. Um, if you have problems where like exercising hurts, there's not a whole lot of incentive to exercise. So, but if you go to like a physical therapy people that place in a hospital or something like that, they have professionals there that will help you work out. But more importantly, you're there to work out and they're there to yell at you to make sure that you do it. And so, yeah, you need to have money for a personal trainer guy that's big and scary a drill sergeant type to yell at you to get you to exercise. This isn't, you know how most people don't like exercising. Like, ugh, it's a job and it's a chore and shit. Okay. Like, imagine taking a knife and just sitting there stabbing yourself over and over again, and that's your exercise. Ah, it's knife stabbing day. No, I gotta do 10 reps. Poke, 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 poke. Not the blood. Yeah. Oh, I gotta rest. Now I gotta poke this part of me. Stab, stab, stab. That's what it's like. It's literally not. Yeah. It's literally like that. Oh, here's my physical therapy. Smash, 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 smash. Punch yourself in the face over and over again. Okay, do the other side now. You're not gonna do that if you're doing it on your own steam. You know, you're not. It's not gonna be a whole lot of motivation to do that. I mean, people that don't have chronic pain have trouble exercising and getting on an exercise routine just because they lazy and because it's like, it's I gotta, lifting weights hurts. You do like, it's like, no, you're doing it wrong. If it hurts, it's supposed to be like, yeah, you're supposed to like feel a little bit and then you put the weight down. You're not even doing it right. Anyways, uh, oh yeah, I took 5 milligrams of Valium yesterday. I took 7.5 milligrams the 2 days before that because I was having trouble sleeping, but now I seem to be back on track as far as not sleeping in. For sleeping in for me is like to sleep past 10 o'clock and go. I just don't like going to sleep really late. I don't. What it is like I go to sleep 2 to 4 in the morning. I'm still gonna wake up in the morning. I mean, I can sleep and wake up whenever I want to, but my body says no. We're gonna wake up in the morning because that's what we do. So I don't get enough sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm not communicating well this morning because I'm not feeling good at all. But like I said, I'm on track to at least have something to talk about. You know, I don't know if they can help me. I go to these welfare doctors. I don't know if they can help me or do anything for me. Or like sometimes you'll get a doctor that's just interested, or they're just starting out and they're actually pretty good, but they don't have a practice built up. You can get lucky as a poor person, and they're a competent doctor. They don't really have a practice built up, and they're interested in your case on top of it. And yeah, that could happen, and then I could maybe get some help, or like I almost said her name. She's the she's the lady whose name doubles as a euphemism for the female genitalia. But anyways, um, she was saying like they can refer you to people. I'm like, well, they can only refer me to what my insurance will cover because the ridiculous expense. That's what happened. Like I had a rich uncle. I'm interrupting myself to tell you that this stupidity. I had a rich uncle. I thought I would get an inheritance off of. This dude never spent a dime, and he had to spend all his money on medical bills, like toward the end of his life, and had like very little savings left. But he was just one of them guys that didn't spend any money to the point where he quit working and would just wear his work pants and his work. He had like coveralls that he did work in. I think he worked at Timkins. Might have even worked with my dad temporarily. Um, but anyways, the point is, he was just wear his work clothes rather than buy regular clothes. That's how cheap he was. And it's like he was watch the same TV until the TV was completely unwatchable. It's like, how do we have a better TV than this guy? We go to his house, and then he watched screwed up TVs for so long that the color was so bad on him that he, when he did finally buy a new TV, he adjusted the color to look like shit, like his old TV. That's how long he watched a piece of shit TV. He got a good TV, and he's like, no, I'm not used to watching a good TV, so I'm gonna adjust the picture to look like shit, where people's faces are purple and stuff. And yeah, the colors are all off and everything. I wonder if like I remember thinking that was funny. Um, but I wonder if like there was any way. He's like, damn it, my old TV used to be fuzzier than this. If there's there any way I can play with the focus button on there? Because they used to have like everything's all different now, but they used to have horizontal and vertical hold on your TVs, and um, I think they had like a sharp button. They still have that like on TVs, I think, where you have sharp and contrast and stuff on. Like I got a newish TV, and but it used to be like all buttons and stuff. Sometimes they'd be on the back of your TV, and yeah, I watched a lot of crappy TVs after uh, I yeah, after my dad lost his job. We watched a lot of ridiculous TVs. I can't even remember all of them. It's always seemed like we were getting a new piece of shit TV. And I was watching like black and white TV well into the color era, just because black and white TVs, they still sold them and they were cheap. And my brother, my eccentric brother, um, he just had like a 12-inch black and white TV, and then like he had money. He was like my uncle, come to think of it, because I'm like, why are you still watching this 12-inch black and white TV? He's like, why don't you just buy a new TV? And he goes like, it fits my stand. Yeah, he had this he had this little piece of furniture that it was just a stand that had, I remember it had like a drawer on the bottom that you pulled out, and it had a drawer on the top that you pulled out. And he like even went so far as to do carpentry and to make, because he's the dude that's crafty, and to make like a little shelf that you could fold out on the side of his special stand, and then you could put a drink there, or your dinner tray or whatever. But yeah, he watched like a 12-inch black and white TV when he didn't have to, and I asked him why, and he's like, "Cause it fit the stand." And I was like, "Man, I live with crazy people. It doesn't make any sense." Like, some people just enjoy a certain pattern of misery, and by God, it makes them comfortable. They love that stone in the shoe. They want to keep it there. Like now, he's finally he finally bought a TV. I don't remember how long ago it was, but he went from like a 12-inch TV to one of these great big huge newer TVs. Um, but it wasn't. I have to ask him about that. I have to delicately ask him about that out of curiosity. Um, Remember when you used to watch like a 12-inch TV? When did you like? How can I ask that politely? When did you first buy your first real TV? Because I bet you he was watching a 12-inch black and white TV. I know he was watching it in the 80s. I bet you he bought it. I bet you he upgraded his TVs from a 12-inch black and white TV from a Dumont in the 90s, man. It took him until the 90s. And he's like a couple years younger than me. Oh, man. So I remember he was going through a depression when I was living there, and I would, try to be a good brother and go out of my way and try to like help him and stuff. And one time I'm sitting there watching his stupid little black and white TV on his stupid little stand, and I'm trying to talk to him or just interact with him in some kind of way. And this is after he stole the upstairs from me. Um, After I had surgery, I couldn't walk up steps anymore. So, it took me a while before I could walk up steps. And I've told all these crap before, but that used to be my room. And then he was like, well, I thought I could have it all to myself. So he was content to like make me sleep on the couch like a couch dweller and stole my room. But I was like, hell with it. I don't want to live with that asshole anyway. Because, like I said, we had a house with limited space. So, anyways, he's in a depression. I'm sitting there watching this little TV on a stupid little stand with him. And he just like reaches up with his foot and pushes the TV all the way toward him. I just looked at him and I just shook my head and like walked away. I don't think I said anything to him. That's like, you can't even say like I'd like to be alone now. you're just gonna you're just gonna like we were both watching TV. He's just gonna like take his foot and like push the stand over toward him so the TV's angled away. So I'm looking at the back of it. I'm like, yeah, that's the guy that wouldn't let me move into his house over the over last summer. I just wanted to move for like I was like I only need about 3 months. I got like 6 grand. You don't have hot water or shower. We'll get it all fixed up. And he's like, nope. I'd rather watch a black and white TV than take showers. So yeah, he still don't have hot water, by the way. He's working on it though. By God, he's working on it. Still hasn't upgraded his cable company either. Um, yeah, he's actually missed fishing trips and stuff because his cable provider he's got still got cable TV. So his TV, internet, and phone provider actually costs him fishing trips because his phone will just go out and he won't know it. So it took him a while, but he had to finally buy a cell phone and to avoid that happening as a backup to his house phone because his house phone just randomly wouldn't work. And a couple times people just pop over and be like, "Hey, your phone ain't working," and knock on his door. Um, but he won't change. He just don't do change. But he said something weird to me the other day when we were talking. I think it was like, I don't like any kind of new interaction with people. I'm like, okay, but yeah, one of a kind. Eccentricities. Yeah, my family very full of eccentricities, and it's not. It's funny, but at the same time, it's caused me a lot of grief. Because being sane around insane people is like being the sober guy at the party. It's not a lot of fun. Being the designated driver It's not a lot of fun when you think like, I don't know, what I would consider rationally and normally. It's like, okay, do you like watching a black and white TV that's the size of a postage stamp? You know, they have like TVs now that are 40, 50 inches. This is before TVs got crazy. Um, the first big screen TV isn't even a big screen that I bought. And I remember I bought it in 1993, and it was a 31-inch TV. It's like they had 25 and 27-inch TVs. It was like a big TV in the 80s. And I remember when I got on disability. That's when my dad loved TV, so that was like, you know, one one of the first things he did was take me TV shopping. I made the mistake of thinking that I was going to get to be the guy to pick out the TV, but he was like, "Yeah, you like this TV." I'm like, "But what about this TV over here?" He goes, "No, you like this one." So he spent my disability money on a TV, which we needed a TV, but he loved that TV. And of course, it lived for about 14 or 15 months, and then it died. He picked a lemon, and we couldn't afford to get it fixed. I think it cost like $175 or something to get it fixed. And we had a TV repairman guy come out to look at it. Uh, that was see, when I got on disability, like 1986. Then I bought that 31-inch TV. That's when I had moved out, and that was 1993. Uh, yeah, I couldn't even lift that TV. It's a ridiculous old-fashioned box TV before they had the flat screens and stuff. Fascinating TV talk. Um, but yeah, there's always like another layer to the onion of craziness that is my family. I forgot about the TV. You know, didn't want to buy a new TV because the old TV fit the stand. Okay, you spend like he literally spend all day watching TV. He like never, that was like separating a baby from the mama's breast. Like he was always watching TV 24/7. He watched the most god awful Drek that they had on TV. He would watch it and he would complain about how there was. I'm like, why are you watching that? And he goes, well, there was nothing on else on at that time of day. He's like a really bright guy too, and it's like he read all the books in the house and he knows how to do like carpentry and he knows how to do a whole bunch of stuff. He's very funny, much funnier than I am. And he's got all this talent and stuff. And he's just sitting there watching Mama's Family at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like old TV shows. He watched a TV show that was called like Madam or something like that with an obscene puppet or like a bawdy, uh, um, oversexed puppet. Some of the really bad shows that they had on. Um, Shows that make Married with Children look like masterpiece theater. So watch some really bad stuff. But that's my brother. My older brother, that's my younger brother. My older brother, he was like a complete outdoorsman type dude. He was even a landscaper, so he was like always outside. I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but he was a really bad alcoholic, and I reconnected with him briefly and went on a couple of fishing trips with him. Um, right around when the folks died, and he smokes. I know he was smoking weed when we were fishing out of a bowl. So he's one of them alcoholic guys that switched to the more healthy weed thing, and he rolled his own cigarettes. I remember smoking like home rolled cigarettes, and I'm like bought him packs of cigarettes on the way home. I was smoking with him, but he didn't have his own phone, so I don't like his significant other, common law wife or whatever. So I just want to talk to him. I don't like, never liked her, and yeah, so that kind of put a hindrance on me calling him. It's my family, so I'm the guy that does the reaching out or whatever. So, um, yeah, that never. And my voice is gone. I'm just going to get off here because I can't talk because of my voice. But yeah, that relationship fizzled out. But he was just like always trying. He was a smart guy too, but he was always trying to be like super macho. He was in like a billion fights, and he was hmm, severe alcoholic. And then he dried up, and then when we were talking to him, I kind of pieced together that he hadn't really come to grips with what our family was. Because I talked bad about one of our uncles, and he got all offended by it. And I was like, holy shit. Everybody knows that guy's a piece of shit. It's like, okay, if you're not coming to grips that this guy was a murderer and a bad guy, psychopath, worked for a leg breaker, shot a guy in the kneecap, if you're not coming to grips with that stuff, you're probably not coming to grips. He said something about us having good parents, and he's in his 60s. I'm 53. He's in his 60s now for sure. He was a lot older than me. And he might be 65, I don't know. But it's like, yeah, this isn't really going to work. And if he's sober, I don't want to do nothing to fuck up his sobriety. So it's like he's better off. He's managing to be sober and be alive and have some kind of life, you know. And I can't really take on too much more damage anyway, as far as screwed up people, crazy people, you know. I don't know. I know, like, when you're the crazy person, you think you're sane, but I actually do kind of think I'm sane. I kind of think of myself as a sane, rational person. Um, I could be wrong, but yeah. I don't, like, fit my TVs to pieces of furniture. I say that. I'm sane enough to not, like, that's like you have one plate. And I'm like, why are you eating such small meals if it's the plate? Yeah. Why do you eat White Castle hamburgers all the time if you guys like a tea saucer if it's my saucer? I don't eat regular size hamburgers. I'm pretty sure that's crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's pretty crazy. Like your dad expecting you to know how to do stuff without teaching you how to do it. Like what am I supposed to learn how to do like basic home maintenance on the street? Go up to a street thug. How do you plunge a toilet? I don't need to know about like a dope or how to stick a needle in my arm or like where to find a hooker. Just teach me how to plunge a toilet. All I can do is laugh at that kind of insanity, man. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Like you're dealing with that kind of crazy, man. Come on. Uh, I mean, yeah. I could probably sit here and like, you know, obviously not thinking too well this morning, but I could probably think up some more crazy shit. But usually it just kind of bubbles to the surface, and I just kind of forget about how utterly insane it is. I'll go back to an old standby. It's like I had some people that were shooting at me at this place we would go fishing at, and I asked my brother, I don't know how old I was, if I could use his rifle so I could shoot back at him because he's like, why do you want my rifle? And I said, like, well, we got these kids shooting at us. I'd like to be able to shoot back. He's like, what are you crazy? I'm not going to give you my gun so you can just shoot people. Then, like a couple months later, he's like, I shot somebody once with the same gun. And I'm like, you shot somebody? And he's like, yeah, they were stealing a bike. They were stealing your bike. No, it wasn't my bike. I'm like, what? He goes, oh, I was coming out of the woods and it was outside the Palms, which is a bar. And some guy was stealing some guy's motorcycle. So I shot him. You shot him? I had just in the leg. You know, it's like, okay. Yeah, I didn't ask if, stuck around because you usually don't stick around when you shoot people. So he just assumed that he'd be okay, but you have like a femoral artery in your leg that maybe you killed the guy, and maybe you don't even know if the guy was actually stealing the motorcycle. How do you know that he was stealing the motorcycle? I didn't ask any other questions because, when people can confess capital crimes to me, I keep the conversation brief. Like, I don't want to be hearing about that shit anyway, so I'm not asking any details. Obviously, even now, my brain is like got like a million questions associated with that event. First of all, being like, exactly how do you know that he wasn't just having trouble getting his own bike? You know, it's like, how do you know that he was stealing somebody else's bike? Did you know the guy? Did you know the bike? Did you just not like the guy? And is the guy like a known thief? There's all kind of questions, but you don't ask those questions. You know, in like another world, maybe. I had a cousin that shot an airplane, so at least he kept it to ground vehicles. But my uncle, the one that whipped me when I was a kid, and then I sicked my dad on my uncle because I'm like, I'm only getting whipped at one of these damn houses. I ain't getting whipped at both of them. So, anyways, this uncle that whipped me when I was a kid told his kids, anybody comes on our property, shoot them. So uh, they had access to guns when they were like, I don't know, 9 years old. I mean, that's almost not exaggerating. I don't know, but they always had guns in my memory. But he said anybody comes on our property, shoot them. And according to my cousin, he thought that included planes. So he climbed up. They have these towers, these gigantic electrical towers out in the country that you've seen, and he climbed. They have those pegs that you climb up. I climbed up them, and got really far up, and I was like, wasn't afraid of heights, but I was like, you know what? There's no chance I'm living if I fall from here. So I think I climbed up far enough, and I can see like this is like being on a mountain. But anyways, he had like a gun, a rifle with a sling on it, and he climbed up the tower and shot a plane. I'm like, what kind of plane did you shoot? He goes, well, it wasn't a 747. I was like, oh, so you weren't hunting big game then? He goes, no, it was just one of them like little planes. He probably meant like a Piper or something like that. And, I'm like, did you hit it? And he goes, oh yeah, I hit it. I was a good shot. So he shot a plane. Yeah, because his dad told him to shoot anybody that comes onto his property, and he did not specify. Have you shot any submarines lately? He did not specify if it was just people on land, so he shot a plane. Um, he didn't specify if it was land, sea, and air uh, artillery that he was supposed to launch. So he's, he he also shot a guy. I think he was like 15 when he shot that guy, but he shot a guy because well, I know a lot of people that shot people. You know, big deal. Not an uncommon thing in my family. So when he was a little kid, like I don't know, 14 years old, something like that, he told his dad that yeah, somebody came on our property, and he's like, "What did you do about it?" And he was like, "Well, I chased him off of the property with the 357." And he goes, "It wasn't loaded though," and his dad whipped him really badly for pointing an unloaded gun at a guy. He goes, "What if that guy had a gun? Then what? Then you get shot and you end up dying like a dumbass with an empty gun." So he whipped a 14-year-old for not confronting somebody with a loaded 357. So the next time it was loaded and he shot the guy. And he said that, he followed a trail of blood into the woods. I'm like, "Did you ever find the body?" And he goes, "Oh, I didn't look that hard." He said, "I saw there was a trail of blood, and I saw some blood here and there." And so he doesn't know. You know, I have to ask him the story because I know they had a 357, a 30-30. They had all kind of guns. So I got to ask him what caliber. I'll get back to you on that. What caliber is? 'Cause I'm sure if you shoot somebody with a 357 in the trunk of their body, they're dead. I'll ask him about that. Find out what caliber gun it was, or what kind of gun he shot the guy with, how old he was. Imagine that. I forget the details of these stories. I think he'd remember that. I only remember like the caliber of gun that my brother shot the guy in the leg with because he always was shooting things with that gun. So I can still see that gun in my mind. It's just a regular 22 caliber long rifle that he would take raccoon hunting. And he was thinking, yeah, it's just a 22, and yeah, just shot him in the leg. It's not a big deal. It's like shooting somebody with a BB gun. It's not a big deal. It's like, no, no. That's, 75% of all your mob hits occur with a 22. Yeah, it's a good gun to kill people with because it sounds like a firecracker. It's not a big boom gunshot. It's just a crack. It just sounds like a firecracker. So it's a good, you don't even need a silencer with it, especially around the 4th of July. Okay, now that I'm awake, I guess, and I could probably talk some more, I guess I should go. And most of these stories you've heard before anyway, even if I am adding details to them or, you know, bring them into a larger context of other bizarreness. I know I never told you that my brother fit TVs to stands before. Uh, yeah. It's not your head. You don't have to like have a specific hat size. It's a TV, you know. But yeah. So I had a sister that wore dirt shoes. She just never wore any shoes, and she actually had like dirt pile up on the bottom of her feet to where it could stop attack. And then she would peel off this dirt off of her feet, and it looked like Bigfoot was a big thing in the 70s, so it looked like those plaster molds of big feet, except for it was made up of dirt and hair and all kind of stuff. So, and she thought it was funny because no shirts, no shoes, no admittance to just go barefoot everywhere and wear those bell-bottom pants they did in the 70s and walk in the stores and stuff with their dirt shoes, and the bell bottoms would cover her whole foot. I do remember that from being a kid. And I remember like, I told all these stories before, but I remember like um, when she dressed me up as uh, a girl for Halloween when I was a little boy. I was like, I didn't know any better, so I thought it was, I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't realize that I was being uh, turned into a transvestite because I was just like, oh, okay, this is going to be my Halloween costume. I'm going to wear a skirt and pantyhose, which I think they call them leotards. I don't know. They use the word leotards, but I don't know what a leotard is. But I had a skirt on and I had makeup on. And I knew I was like a pretty boy. I was like one of those effeminate looking kids and stuff like that, but they took that a bit far. And then they were sitting around smoking dope, and they were like, "We're gonna dress you," meaning me, as a girl, and we're gonna dress your sister as a garbage bag for Halloween, and then we're gonna put you out on the corner and see which one gets picked up first. Like, that is some seriously fucked up shit to do to kids. You basically dressed me up as a prostitute for Halloween. That ain't right. I can't talk to her about that because I don't talk to my sister anymore. Not because of that, of course. But yeah, did they? I have to. I am curious now. See, I've never asked a lot of questions. When you grow up in like around in basically an insane asylum, you just don't ask a lot of questions because the answers you're going to get aren't going to make any sense. Like, the TV doesn't fit the stamp. Was I dressed up as a prostitute or just a pretty girl when I was like 5 years old, going to kindergarten as a boy? You know, suppose like that had some kind of weird effect on me and like turned me into a transvestite or like yeah, damaged me in some way psychologically. I can barely, I don't, it's like I don't remember the skirt I was wearing. I remember the makeup that I had on because, you know, that's people touching your face and stuff and putting eyeshadow on you and stuff. So I remember that. But yeah, she thought that was the funniest joke in the world. It is kind of funny. You know, we're going to put you out, both out on the corner, a garbage bag, and somebody dressed like a hooker and see which one gets picked up first. I'm pretty sure that's not being a good babysitter, though. Yeah. That's an easy costume, though, getting dressed up as a garbage bag for Halloween. Almost said for Christmas. Because there's a lot of snow outside. And most of these crap I talked about before. So, um, I guess that's it. I mean, I never have good endings, so you're used to it. Um, there was some amusing stuff in there anyway. I think that's just a bad way to raise a kid, though. Just like I always felt stupid, and then like I always grew up feeling like a stupid coward because um, boo hoo hoo, poor me. I know, but it was always like I was supposed to know things without, just by osmosis, as the old expression goes. Just supposed to know things automatically. It's like you're not born knowing things. I don't know where you got that idea, old man. But, and then I was afraid of my dad all the time and like physically intimidated by him, and scared he might kill me. So you grow up feeling stupid and like a coward. That's just not a good way to grow up. So I'm glad I never had any kids, uh, because I wouldn't I would you learn how to be a parent from your parents. And since I grew up in an insane asylum, I'm pretty sure I would have been a lousy parent. I've had people tell me that I would make a good parent. I just laugh at them. I mean, you don't have to. You can obviously people are different than their parents, but if you even if you make a concerted effort, you can fall into that pattern. Even if you're like, well, I'm going to be different. It's like go-to programming. You can't help it. I've often heard myself repeating things that my dad said, and regretting it later, just because that's what you grew up with. I try not to yell at people for not knowing things, though, because yeah, we all have to learn things. Like I have to learn how to get through this day, and I need to retire my voice for a while anyway. I don't know when that's going to get better. Anyways, instead of like bringing it down on a down note, like bitching about my childhood and whatnot, instead of just telling ridiculous, stupid, more with the garbage trucks, more garbage trucks. You didn't get it right the first time. So yeah, instead of bringing it down on a down note, the positive thing here is like everything that I want to get accomplished this week as far as reconnecting myself uh, with um, doctors, the medical community, access to medications, etc., etc. I did, and it wasn't that hard. So that's cool. I made the initial effort, and then it kind of like all fell into place. So that's good, you know. And I can at least say that much. Man, it's starting to get painful to talk. I must be, well, basically, I don't ever want to start my day, and I prefer trying to talk, even if it's difficult, than to be, yeah, be alone with instead of alone with my thoughts, alone with my pains. Yeah. At least if I'm trying to think of things to say, it gives me something to do while I'm being distracted. Anyways, thanks for putting up with me. Goodbye.